Hi everyone, welcome. Thanks so much. Very controversial channel. Not many people arrive to this channel. If you're here and you appreciate the work, thanks for subscribing. We have an amazing community here, by the way. I'm sure you will see that yourself. Leave me some feedback, and again, click on the bell. Everything that you know every YouTuber usually asks. And it's just to get the algorithm for YouTube to share my channel out to other people. Techno Thanks, Physical Astronomy channel. Listen, one of my heroes, just in many ways that I appreciate what he says about both the moon, about space. I learned a lot from him. As he's learning, I'm learning. As he's, sharing what he's learned and, taking into consideration on the moon. He was showing some NASA images of some smoke, okay? Like lines of smoke traveling either over roads or whatnot. And even I was going to mention, so happy to mention him, that there was a shadow beside it too, but he had already mentioned it in his video. He's been doing this before I even started the channel, and he's been doing a long time trying to get the truth out. Most likely why his views are also completely blocked, okay? His community supporting him 100%, but recommendations, YouTube is not sending anyone to these channels, right? Elon Musk would have to buy YouTube. I don't know. But it makes you wonder. So what are these lights on the surface? Well, yet again, flashes that I've been mentioning about. We can come up to many conclusions as to why lights are flashing. This is inside of Aristarchus crater. You know what I do? I descend the exposure. Right? Obviously, to be able to see the lights on the surface. If the whole surface is refractive and has the same reflectivity as the surface, every object has a similar reflectivity as the surface, if not identical, thus hiding the object. So it's not necessarily that there's a camouflage. It could be a natural camouflage, or it could be just naturally being camouflaged. The surface of the moon could never be explained entirely in one video, nor in one documentary. It would be one hell of a documentary. I mean, look at what we're looking at. What's the characterization of these objects if we consider this in the field of ufology, or is it in the field of paranormal? Or is that the big mystery, that some of these sightings that even the Pentagon has captured can actually be entities or something spiritual, or of another race or type of alien? The Pentagon, if I'm not mistaken, has mentioned the reality of there being certain types of alien beings, whether it be true or not. It was declared. Obviously, because of national security and any threat to any country or the U.S., whatever, these sightings are not shown to the public. And it just so happens I went up there and, oh, look what I found. But in reality, no one expected that, for sure, obviously. But I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious that these can only be characterized as living biological creatures, living organisms. Some of what I say is our living organisms can be debris, obviously. But that's why we have to analyze what they are doing when we are filming them. Here's two different directions, the two different UFOs, because they are UFOs, unidentified flying objects. And can we assume they are flying? Yet they are under a very mysterious haze on the surface of the moon, and under that haze, a very beautiful and colorful surface. I've met some bad people along the way. Their intent were pretty obvious. And look at this. A triangular formation inside of a supposed crater, because, they say there are craters on the moon. Again, my opinions on this channel remain my opinions through the facts and research that I do. Same thing that each and every one of you do. I study in ufology. I try to analyze the characteristics and to follow the real protocols that professionals do. In my own way, well, no, in the same way, just that I found a lot. There are blurry patches, right? Check it out. Blurry patches. Why are there blurry patches? Nobody's interested in my blurry patches. When I'm showing on the surface truth that there are blurry patches, not the whole surface is blurry, blurry patches that may be hiding something. Baby steps. Another secret of the moon is that there are much smaller objects than the objects that the world is seeing with their telescopes. Even a large telescope doesn't just point to the moon and see all these things. There's an adjustment of exposure, as I've told you for the 6 years' time. Anyone following me, listening to my every word, I've not changed a word in 6 years. I've been doing the same research the exact same way. Look here. There's a crater and there's a square. We're right beside Mare Serenitatis. The rectangle square or fence or whatever does go over the crater. We can see through that rectangle. When I say see through it, I've seen hundreds of these, and I call them either rooftops. It reminds me of MASH when they got these set-up roofs. Obviously, it's maybe not that, but maybe it is. Visually, you can see it there, the rectangle. It's always there, but it's hard to see. Even here is hard to see. I mentioned it. If I wouldn't have mentioned it, it would have been very, very hard to see. The surface has all these things that are hiding structures on the surface. Is it deliberate or not? I don't have that confirmation, but it sure does look like it is. When I'm watching that sun setting, first, this is the exposure. That's the surface of the moon. This is really the surface of the moon. The exposure's taken down. There's no extra added saturation. Let the trolls worry about refraction. We don't give a shit about the color. It's still there. We can see a smoke. And that smoke, with all the exposure down and with the sun under Earth right now, I'm looking on top from my point of view on Earth. And no, it's not the sun. Those are fires, energy sources on the surface. If there is a smoke on the surface of the moon, who says that the UFOs are not able to easily land inside of that smoke and then take off inside of that smoke? They could live on the surface, whatever's there, without us even knowing it. Here's the exposure, take it down again. Those are fire sources or energy sources or fusioning sources. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's definitely active, right? Whether you want to say volcanoes or not, they can also ride around on the surface and not be seen either along these corridors of smoke, right? So if we were on the moon, let's say I'm a human right now or an alien right now. This is the moon. I'm filming the sky. I can't see Earth right now because it's full Earth too. Can't see it because they're chemtrailing the damn surface. I don't know there's people on Earth, and people on Earth don't know there's people on the moon, right? So if it's not industrial smoke we see on the moon, it's probably both, or clouds, or dusts, or hazes, or outgassing. Don't forget, outgassing. We got a problem if we're seeing smokes rise up on the moon. Microgravity, no atmosphere, pill form. They said it. That's how smoke should remain. Maybe that's where some of those pill-shaped objects that we see on the surface, maybe that's what we're seeing. So they could be smoking the surface, and they could be doing a whole lot of things underneath that smoke and haze without us even knowing. Very slowly, people are getting informed. People that come here, you talk to other people, the word does get around. But in general, my research remains very, very hidden. I've tried to reach some higher placed people, but we got some bad people out there, guys. That's all I'm going to say. So imagine me with no acknowledgement from anyone in the entire world talking about this rectangle where we're talking 50 kilometers, maybe 60 kilometers from where Apollo 17 supposedly landed. A rectangle. Can you see it? I can. So here's an object underneath that's stationary, the lights, and moving under the haze, and this one over top of the haze. Looks like a balloon. It looks round, actually. It looks like a big magic balloon going across the moon. Obviously not, but I've heard some people talk about weather balloons. I think we're looking at the whole kit and caboodle here. Is this a weather balloon? Of course not. It's on the surface. It's a light under the haze, causing a massive haze on the surface, changing directions, turning, illuminating. There's other objects appearing beside it. Each of these captures should be a video. We're looking at probably living objects. Maybe not, but if we are, it's totally unknown. There's no field to the public, known to the public about these objects. different higher classes of security and secrecy up over the government and presidencies. These are the elites, my friends, that are doing the research. And maybe it's the elites that attracted these aliens here in some bad way. Aliens up there on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens are mining on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.